Hello, friends. Welcome to Spicy Cat Colors. My name is Kathy. There are a few of you that have been anticipating and asking when this video would be posted. Today, I have for you my completed book flip of Floating 3D Mandalas, Volume 2 by Tabitha Barnett. This was a project book. It was my very first project book I have done with anyone. I had reached out at the end of 2021 to the beautiful Tammy Colors 2 here on YouTube. We had become friends throughout 2021 and did a lot of buddy colors, and I had seen other people that do project books, they call, or a year-long buddy color. Basically, you and a friend pick a book that you would like to color complete, however order, if it's out of order. Basically, at the end, you want it to be colored from front to back, and you did it with your friend. And it doesn't mean it has to be in a year. It could be like over time, however it works. And I was so inspired by that because seasoned friends, I love to do buddy colors and building friendships. And I wanted to try and do that. So I reached out to Tammy and she's like, heck yeah. And she was already there's a book that she has been working on with another coloring friend. And they don't have a deadline. They just work on it when they have time. And she and I decided, let's try and do a whole book in a year. And we did it. Now, I am not adept enough to figure out how Tammy and I could do both of ours flips at the same time to show you side by side. So I am going to reach out to Tammy and hopefully she is posting her video at the same time. Because we were kind of going back and forth. How are we going to do this? I'm not smart enough to do a split screen. Do we both just film it and then send each other the video? It seemed more than I could handle. So this is my option. And what I have done is I have printed out, and you will get to see, I won't be popping it on the screen, but I did copy them and print them out and put them in my book because I wanted that memory and to be able to visually hold the book and look to see. These are also all posted on Instagram. Both Tammy and I posted our completed pages for the mandala book on Instagram. So if you go to either of our Instagram pages and scroll, you'll be able to see them and in more detail because I didn't capture everything. I'll show you what I mean. So when we colored, we went from back to front, but I'm going to flip just for the sake of flipping from front to back. So you're going to see I have things titled and it'll make sense as we go. So there were a few pages that Tammy already had done, or maybe she wasn't going to do them, but here is the first one. I like to do, if I say I'm doing a book, I'm doing it from front to back. If it's a title page, a nameplate page, to me, I'm counting them. Not everybody does, and that's perfectly okay. So I did do this one. This is a page that Tammy had already done. So this was just me playing around. I used water-based markers because I was just testing out. I didn't know this was the first time I had done any of them. And this was another one Tammy had done. Again, I used water-based. You can see that they did still, even though it was water-based, definitely went through the page. So we have that. And this one I did myself, and it was Sharpies. And then now we are going to be into the pages that we've done together. So every month we had it broken down to do, does this say how many there were? I forget if it said. I guess it doesn't really matter right now because they're all done. But we had it figured out. Most months we did 5 pages, some months we did 4. And we alternated taking turns for the inspiration. So these are all mandalas, which are fun. You could just do them however you want. But we took turns picking what was our inspiration for the pages. So I will talk about those. This might be a little longer video. Typically a flip through is just a quick show you, but there's a lot to share on these pages, even though they're mandalas. So I broke mine into chapters. So I wrote the title or the month, and then so we're going to read the book backwards from chapter 12 back to chapter 1. So I tried to do, when I could, it would be this first of the pages for the month. I would do as my chapter page, and I tried to do the mandala in the colors for the month. So as far as like a birthstone color, anything, if I could tie it together, or colors of like the birth month flower, and then I would write that information. So after I took my picture and sent it to Tammy, I would go back in and I wrote like the flowers that are the birth flowers for that month, the birthstones, the signs, excuse me, as far as your zodiac signs, if there were any special days, holidays. That is kind of how we did it. So when I picked, it was easy for me to do that. So it was always the first page. Sometimes I had to get creative when Tammy would pick, and it might not be the first one. But so what you're going to see is my page over here. And then here was the inspiration. So December, I thought was sweater weather. So I found sweaters for us to be photo inspirations. And Tammy's favorite color is blue. And I wanted to do blue for the birthstone. So that's why we picked this one. And then on the lower left, you will see this. I'm not going to zoom in probably on all of these. Again, go to Instagram if you want to see it. I would do a split color kind of a look and have Tammy's on the left and mine on the right. And then here, I did not do this for all of them, but this is on Instagram as well. You'll see my inspiration and then the two of our mandalas. So hopefully you can get the general idea as we flip through. So that was the month of December. We're all sweaters. And again, I've just glued on. I printed these out from Instagram and glued them into my book. So it's, you know, a little bit of journaling, scrapbooking, junk journaling, however you want to call it. This is my coloring book, and I want to see the inspiration, and I wanted to be able to see Tammy's page. So that's why I did what I did. Primarily, I used alcohol marker on my mandalas and would use white gel pen and sometimes glitter gel pen for accent, but that really seemed to work the best for me. November is chapter 11, and this was one where I had to be creative because Tammy gave me a photo inspiration, and I picked out colors that I wanted to use for the November birthstone, and then the chrysanthemum is the flower, so I tried to do some of those. So some of my pages, you may wonder, I mean, especially Tammy's was so beautiful. She picked up on the pinks and the reds, but I'm very happy with how this worked. Are we getting the whole thing? Yeah, looks like. Okay. This was a fun one. We used her adorable cat Domino as inspiration. So again, Tammy and I would not share our pictures until we were both done. And it was just a blast to see how often we thought the same and did things very similar, or where we did not. So this one, Tammy was actually the inspiration, and I stuck with her outfit. She had another picture with her husband in, so he had blues on, so she picked up on the blues in his outfit. But they're fun. And these mandalas did not take long to color. I do have volume 1 in my coloring collection, and I don't think I've colored anything in them yet, but it was just so fun. And I love that there's this shaded, so it kind of does make it look like it's floating. October, I picked cats in costumes for our inspiration. So I had to put a picture of each of them. And again, I've got my, image of Tammy's page and my page. And just looking through this just makes me smile and brings me so much joy. I can remember some of these pages, like what I was doing, primarily usually watching YouTube videos or a movie when I was doing the coloring. Or it reminds me of like the conversations Tammy and I are having via Instagram Messenger as we're talking about things. And it just brings me so much joy. So September, Tammy did this a couple times, and you'll see it. She sent me some packs of stickers. So this is the pack of stickers she sent me, and that was the inspiration for that mandala. And you could do whatever you wanted with them, but we needed the intention is to incorporate some of the stickers with it. So here I was trying to go for a September sapphire themed. So I picked primarily the blues, and then the flowers were typically pink. So I picked the blue and pink ones. And I did that for my page, which was fun. And then you can see some of these I would do if I did them when I was like on crafty vacation. They got super embellished, which these were, I was on crafty vacation. So I used stickles and liquid pearls. That's what you're seeing as the sparkle is stickles and the other is liquid pearls. So that was a lot of fun. I did not do that every month because for me to get that pulled out and coordinated, it takes a lot. So sometimes we would do a palette challenge. We would give each other either a specific color palette or a photo inspiration. And then we also did frequently a random marker draw. So when we did a random marker, I think if I remember right, the rule was to pick 6 to 8 markers, but then you could remove some. You couldn't add anything else to it, but you could pull some out. Say there was like 2 almost identical pinks, or you had like a couple colors that really you did not like. You could cull those out. So again, the end of this is more detailed than I remembered to do at the beginning. I would take a picture of my markers that I randomly chose, and sometimes I would send that to Tammy. I wouldn't send her the picture. I'd just say, oh, look what I got for my draw. And then I remembered to print out the picture so I could put it in the book. And these are, you'll notice whenever there's purple, I try to go with purple, and Tammy knows purple is my favorite color and blue is hers. So we kind of, I don't know that we intentionally did that for each other. This was August and I got to pick, and I went through basically the life cycle of a monarch butterfly. Seasoned friends know what monarch butterflies mean to me. So this is the chrysalis stage, and I needed to do this green, the peridot stone, and used enamel accents on this one. This was the actual monarch butterfly page, and I used a picture and pulled colors out. That's actually one of the butterflies and my mom's finger that she had hatched, I guess. Here was just a color palette. Again, this one I was on vacation, I can tell, because I had a lot of extra embellishment. Caterpillar. And this was a color palette from Zoe, Addicted to Coloring. Forgot to say, Panda Colors, we did a lot. This was her. She's currently dealing with some life stuff, but she would put out a color palette every month. So we frequently use those. And so that was fun. And she hopefully will be up to doing those again soon. I very much enjoyed those. So, and it made it easy to pick out what to do for the page. Now we're already in chapter 7, July. So sometimes I would say, or we would give just like a word. So for this one, I said daisy. The inspiration was daisies, and daisies come in many different colors and flowers. So I picked this red daisies, and I know Tammy had a picture, but I did not save it. So I don't know what her picture was that she used, but we would use, and there's a couple others where I will tell you. So daisy inspiration. This is this palette, and that was, Tammy was picking in July. She always found the best palettes. I mean, seriously, you should like start your own palette generator. And here was another one where she had sent stickers, and this was very summery. So I thought this reminded me of swimming pools, actually synchronized swimming. I don't know why. It's just like, if these are the people, they're all like synchronized, making waves. Again, it's a mandala, and I still come up with a story for it. This one I thought I was going to dislike, and it turned out to be one of my favorites. So the inspiration she gave was watermelon. And the actual original, I don't think you can tell, kind of. The original image, these black were circles. These were all just circles like the ones I did, the white. And I took a black pen, not not an alcohol pen, because you can see how they're still circles. And I turned them, I tried to make them look like watermelon seeds. And then I was trying to make these, I didn't make them pointy, but kind of like the white seeds that haven't turned black. Anyway, I had so much fun. And again, I was like, when I first saw this one, I was like, oh, I don't really like the design. But because of the inspiration, love it. Love it. Love it. I'm like, oh, it's totally watermelon. June. So here was one where I gave the inspiration of lilacs, which again come in multiple colors, but I was purposefully trying to go for this pale purpley. And here, June is Pride Month, so I gave rainbow as the inspiration, and I did all of mine in glitter paint markers. This one I botched. This was the palette inspiration. And I totally picked the wrong blues. These are definitely more of a turquoise blue-green. It's still beautiful, but now it skews Christmas to me, where Tammy got the blues right and hers looked, I really loved hers. I mean, I do like mine. It just doesn't look like the inspiration. But sometimes that happens, because once you start putting the coloring down, or the color down, you just roll with it, whatever it is. This was another random... Sorry, something fell off here. Random marker challenge. And some of them would turn out, and some you're going to see are like, whew, those are a hot mess. This was, again, Tammy had picked inspirations. This one was fun because based on how the image looked like, she said it reminded her of fire. So that was the inspiration, was just flames. So she did hers traditional with like red, oranges, and yellows. And I needed to have a green page for my chapter 5 May. So I found a picture of green flame and used that. Here was another sticker inspiration. So used the colors and then added the stickers to the page. I thought it was really fun. These butterflies fit perfectly on this element of the mandalas, so I just put them on. This is another SpiceyCatColors palette. And you can see some of the mandalas are more detailed than others. Some are a little more simplistic size-wise. Some get a little larger. Here was another one where Tammy and I were just not that impressed with the design. So she said, to me, it looks like a starfish. So that's your inspiration. And we both searched and found our own palettes, but the colors were very similar. And I'm like, yeah, it does. It looks like a starfish and then water around it. So that's the way I colored it. This was fun. So April was my birthday month and I got to pick. It happened. We didn't plan any of this out. Trust me. That's why I think it was so much fun, because we really didn't plan until the month before. And so I picked, because I knew I wanted my chapter for April. And the birthstone for April is diamond. And so that was my inspiration. I just said, shine bright like a diamond, however you want to interpret that. So Tammy did this lovely black and silver metallic and glitter gel pen. And then my story was I went with the traditional bluish. I mean, diamonds are clear, but they come in multiple colors. And cocoa diamond is something my husband has always said he was going to buy me, because his nickname that I gave him is Coco. And they have these beautiful brown toned diamonds. So I kind of did a mix of that. And then I painted, I don't remember if it was glitter Mod Podge. I painted it with a glitter over the top. This one is definitely not my favorite color palette, but I was the inspiration. That's, me at a birthday. And I wrote down here, I took 2 colors off of everything. So I took 2 colors from the sweater, from the wall, from the curtains, and the cake. And this is what I came up with. It definitely, it was something. This was a palette. The design reminded me of the movie Encanto, and I found a color palette that was tied to Encanto. So that was a fun one. I also looked, and if you're ever looking for color palettes, look at the amazing cookie decorating world. They have some beautiful pictures, and that's exactly what this is. I found a couple that were based on these cookie. So if you're looking for palettes, searching online. That's just my little tip. So this, I thought, so some of these are interesting where the design is almost, it's not identical, but you'll see. So there's this one that has these extra bloops of what I thought was water for rain. But then there is the center part of the mandala is the same on the next page. The only thing missing are that extra layer. So she did kind of a simplified version and then a little bit more detailed one. So that was kind of fun. And that happens a couple times in this book. I just remembered to point it out to you right now, but you may have already picked up on it. And then March was Tammy's birthday, and she happened to get to pick. So this was March, which I absolutely love. And she said to do this mandala, color it like a birthday cake for her. And it was her 50th birthday, so I added stickers that said Tammy 50. And again, knowing blues are one of her favorite colors, I kind of went with the aquamarine blues and added a bunch of sparkle and stickers. So much fun. So much fun. Each and every one of these. Here is a random, and this was back in March, so this was before I started to go, oh, you might want to take pictures so you can remember all of these. So that's me. Here was a neon, fluorescent, and sparkle was the theme. Blue with a pop of purple. Here is another palette. Color palette inspiration. And then this one I picked, and it was supposed to, I think it was me, February. Yes. I said red and pink glitter. And that's all I used. Here is my February. And sometimes we would do, when we first started out, we did a couple where it was anything goes. Do whatever you want, pick a palette, do whatever you want. So that's when I was like, oh, I need a purple page. I'm doing this. And then we kind of morphed into more the random. And we got more into it, I think, as the year went along, finding. So like here was a random color palette, which when I initially picked out the colors, they were not my go-to. I'm not a neutrals type person. But I still really like the completed page. Here was, I had chosen, the inspiration was your colors of love, whatever that meant to you. So I picked blues, which was my mom's favorite color, and then I picked greens, which is my husband's favorite color, and did the two of them together. And Tammy, if I remember right, she did pick colors like that had been used in her wedding. So it was just, instead of doing, because this was February, I'm like, oh, I don't want to just do like Valentine's colors. So whatever love colors meant to you. And this was the first one that I had sent her stickers on. And I said it's stickeration, which was my little made up word for sticker inspiration. And I had sent her some stickers that I had from the Crayola little, they're small little Crayola notepad coloring books, and they came with stickers. And I sent her some and just said that was the inspiration. So it was a lot of fun. We had different stickers, but they were the same color palettes. So that was kind of a fun thing to do. Here was the first month. We did January, and this was Anything Goes, which is where I got my idea to do the chapters. So I did the red. This was silver and gold with purple, and I used all metallic and mostly metallic. I don't know, maybe some of that's glitter, but yeah, that's a shiny one. This was my first random where we did a random, and I actually loved the colors, and Tammy's turned out also very nice. So we were a little bit spoiled by our first random draw, and then the rest of the year they got a little bit different. And here is another where it was a repeat. I showed you in February we did pink and red glitter. Here the instruction was just all glitter, any type of material or medium, but it was supposed to be all glitter. So I just used glitter gel pen, and then every now and then I didn't like just the blank middle, so I put in a sticker. So this was New Year's month, yay. And this was a beautiful palette that she had chosen. And I really love how this one in particular pops on the floating part, how Tabitha Barnett made it with this little bit lightish gray. I just thought that was beautiful. And then this is the last page of the book, which I just colored because that's me. And then it's the end. So there you are, my friends. The completed book. There's a bunch of empty pages back here. I should pull them out for blotters, but then I'm always afraid the book's going to fall apart. So this is my completed book flip of Floating 3D Mandalas, Adult Coloring Book Volume 2. Again, I'm going to speak with Tammy to see if she has filmed a flip and just tell her that I did it. Maybe we can just post on the same day so we can both check each other's out. And if that's the case, I will have the link for you down below to go see her video. And then you can see her pages up close and personal. But there you go, friends. My first completed project book. This wasn't my first completed coloring book, but my first completed project book. And I absolutely loved it. It's got some thickness to it. It is just so lovely to have all of these, especially a mandala. You can hear where I used water or stickles. It made it a little crinkly. And it's like, it's a storybook. It's not just a coloring book anymore. There's a story behind each and every one of these pages. And it seriously makes me happy to just flip through it. So there you go, friends. I hope you enjoyed this flip. I hope you are doing well. And I hope you are feeling happy today, because it's good. It's good to be happy. So take care, my dear friends. Know that you are loved and appreciated, and most of all, you matter. You are beautiful. Hang in there with whatever's going on, and you'll get through it. I love you, friends. Bye.